Menards has everything you need for your next drywall job. Whether you are building new or adding on, we have the drywall panels and accessories you need. Like drywall corner bead, screws, shims, drywall tape, primer, drywall sanding screen, joint compound, and spray textures. The most typical do-it-yourself application involves screwing 4x8 sheets directly into wood stud walls. The screws are spaced 16 inches apart on walls and 12 inches apart on ceilings, and at least 3/8 inches from the end of the panels. Use a screw gun with a clutch or impact driver to ensure the screw head is sunk beneath the surface of the drywall, but does not break through the paper facing. You can also use a drywall dimpler to drive screws to the perfect depth, so you'll get professional results every time. Where two sections of the drywall butt together, make sure they meet in the middle of a stud. Cut one sheet to the correct length to ensure they do. To cut drywall, use a straight edge, like a drywall square, to guide the blade of your utility knife. You just need to score the white face paper surface, and then bend the drywall away from the cut surface so it snaps, and then cut the paper backing. To ensure a smooth cut edge, a drywall rasp or sanding block can be used. Panels can be installed either vertically or horizontally, but horizontal application will give you the strongest wall. Joint compound is used along with the drywall tape to cover the panel seams and screw heads. Before applying, mix the compound with a paint paddle and heavy-duty drill. Mix until the compound is smooth and about the consistency of peanut butter. Add a little water as needed to ensure the correct working consistency. The joint compound, or mud as it's called, is put into a mud pan, and using a 6-inch taping knife, a bed layer is applied about 1/8 of an inch thick to the joint and then smoothed. Paper tape is applied to the joint and embedded into place. Draw the knife firmly along the joint to tightly embed the tape. Be sure there is enough joint compound under the tape to prevent blistering of the tape. Remove any excess compound from the edges and apply a thin coat over the top of the embedded tape. Allow this to dry for 24 hours before the first 2 finish coats are applied. Scrape off any ridges or bumps with the knife, making sure not to damage the paper. Using an 8-inch taping knife, apply a second coat of joint compound, holding the knife at a flatter angle to apply a smooth, even layer. Feather the top and bottom edges of the seam and allow to dry. The final finish coat is applied with a 12-inch taping knife. You should only need to apply a very thin layer. Feather the edges at the top and bottom at least 2 inches beyond the second coat. If done properly, there should only be a small amount of sanding needed. If you need to sand, use a fine grit sanding screen and be careful not to scuff the gypsum panel paper. A pole sander works great for along the wall or ceiling seams. If you're sanding a lot, you're most likely applying too much mud to the wall. For inside corners, apply joint compound to the drywall and press an inside corner bead into the compound. Then, run your tape knife over the edges of the inside corner to embed it. Joint compound should be extended slightly wider than the area to be covered, and finished the same as flat wall joints. For outside corners, apply a coating of compound to the corner and then press the paper face bead into place. Run the knife over the bead to press the paper into the compound. Apply a thin coat of compound over the outside of the corner bead, feathering the compound away from the bead. Again, 2 finish coats are applied later. Screw heads are filled with joint compound, allowed to dry, and then given a second coat. Your new wall is now ready to prime and paint, or any other finish treatment you'd like.